What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today is my very delayed review of the SmackDown LowDown from January 28th, 2023. I haven't had a chance to watch it until just now. They do cover stuff that did not have to do with the Royal Rumble, which is why I still watch and review these shows even well after they air. The pay-per-view was on Saturday. I hate when they fucking do these shows the same day as the pay-per-views. I get it in that they drop these episodes at like noon Eastern on Saturdays. The pay-per-views aren't until 7 or 8 Eastern time, so there is a decent amount of time before the pay-per-view to drop these shows. It just makes it a lot harder for me to watch it. I just wish they would take the day off. But regardless, I thought it was a fine show in hyping up the pay-per-view, recapping SmackDown, which I thought was a good show overall. Obviously, for me, no SmackDown audio review this week. I don't typically do it on pay-per-view weekends, just not enough time. And I was there at the Rumble, so it just didn't work out. But I should have a SmackDown audio review up this coming weekend. As far as this episode goes, they opened it up by running down the biggest headlines from SmackDown and also update the SmackDown Tag Team Championship #1 Contenders Tournament, with both Imperium and the team of Braun Strowman and Ricochet advancing to the finals. They recap Legato's match against Imperium winning that one, as well as Braun Strowman and Ricochet replacing Drew McIntyre and Sheamus after they brawled with the Viking Raiders, so they voluntarily canceled their participation in the tournament, which I thought was weird. Strowman and Ricochet replaced them. They beat Hit Row, so they're in the finals now against Imperium next week. Ricochet says to Megan Morant backstage that it's a pleasure to be in the tag team tournament, and he was very happy to hand Hit Row an L after all the shit-talking they've done about Strowman and Ricochet in recent weeks on social media, specifically Top Dollar's Raps on Twitter, and they're just aiming to become champs. Braun Strowman is, he mentions his history with Imperium and why he wants to beat Imperium and kind of get vengeance for Gunther beating him to retain the Intercontinental Championship not too long ago. They did actually beat Imperium in that Miracle on 34th Street fight a little over a month ago, back on the December 23rd edition of SmackDown, so they already own a win over Imperium. If they beat them again, they become the #1 contenders to the SmackDown Tag Titles this Friday on SmackDown, and I think they will. Imperium versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Titles would be awesome. And we already saw the Judgment Day Usos match as a heel versus heel dynamic, so it's not completely out of the ordinary, though I do think we are getting Strowman and Ricochet winning, and they'll eventually challenge the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Title soon on SmackDown, if not at Elimination Chamber. Matt Camp previews the Tag Team Tournament final that I just mentioned. They also recap the Rey Mysterio-Karrion Kross matchup that opened SmackDown on Friday. A good match won by Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio says to Megan Morant backstage that he got some satisfaction from beating Karrion Kross. He proved a point that he's not some old dog past his prime, and he proved that with the win on Friday. He put over Karrion Kross' strength, but he's excited for the Royal Rumble, and he's glad he got past Karrion so he can participate in the Rumble. Unfortunately, Rey was not in the Rumble. His number was called, his music was hit, and he never came out. The word per PW Insider was that he got hurt, and it was like a nagging injury, nothing that'll keep him out for too long. This guy's always fucking hurt, I swear. He was hurt like a couple of months ago, and he was out for like a month, but that's what prevented him from competing in the World Cup tournament a couple of months ago. So he was excited for the Rumble. He was planning to be in the Rumble, and as of the SmackDown LowDown, he was supposed to be in the Rumble, but then come showtime, he was not ready for the Rumble. So there's your update on Rey Mysterio, I guess. They then preview the Men's Royal Rumble matchup for Saturday. They also replay the LA Knight Bray Wyatt segment, which I thought was really cool to hear LA Knight come out to the old Live in Fear theme song for Bray. I thought that was fucking awesome. They preview the Pitch Black match, which ended up being not very good. Kind of boring, honestly, overall. They question Uncle Howdy's potential involvement in the match, and spoiler alert, he did not get involved in the match. He actually only showed up after the match, and he got chucked off of like a fucking platform, and he missed LA Knight, and it was just, the whole thing was a disaster. So it was just, the angle was not good, and we did not find out who Uncle Howdy is. We really should have found out at the Royal Rumble. We did not. The storyline has officially lost my interest. They replay the Adam Pearce Charlotte Flair segment. Speaking of losing my interest, I could not give two fucks about Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville feuding over the SmackDown Women's Championship. This is the most uninteresting feud I've seen over that championship in a long time, and Ronda Rousey's reign was not great. Ronda and Shotzi was not a great feud, but it was better than this shit. I just could not give a fuck about Charlotte and Sonya. I'm sorry. Camp says that Flair wants to add another layer to her career by accepting this challenge for Sonya. That was the weird thing, too. Charlotte said on SmackDown on Friday, hey, I'll give Sonya another opportunity at the SmackDown Women's Championship. Put a bow on this thing once and for all. They'll face off this Friday on SmackDown. Why the fuck was Sonya in the Royal Rumble? If Sonya already has a championship opportunity for next Friday's SmackDown, why would she even be in the Rumble? That makes absolutely no sense. Charlotte backstage tells Megan Morant that, she gives DeVille credit for being persistent, fighting for what she wants, and she previews the Women's Rumble. She's not in the match, thankfully. She says, when asked, who do you want to win? She says, wrong question with the right answer here. Whoever wins is going to want to face me at WrestleMania. And sure enough, Rhea Ripley won, announced on Raw. She won Charlotte at WrestleMania. That match is now official for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania 39. To close this thing out, they recap the Kevin Owens Solo Sikoa main event that ended in a no contest. Great storyline progression there with Sami and Owens and the Bloodline. Matt Camp teases potential fallout for Sami and Sikoa and Jey Uso from Roman Reigns after everything that happened, as we saw at the Rumble. The Bloodline turned on Sami after Sami attacked Roman with a chair. The entire angle was one of the best endings in pay-per-view in WWE pay-per-view history. The whole thing was phenomenal. And then to close out the show, they run down the Rumble card from Saturday. So a pretty effective go-home show here from the SmackDown LowDown for the Royal Rumble. No point in watching it now. We already had the Rumble on Saturday. But like I said, there's a lot of things that happen on SmackDown that don't have to do with the pay-per-views, like the tag team tournament and Charlotte and Sonya. So I'm glad that stuff was touched upon and acknowledged and discussed here on the show before SmackDown this coming Friday, which should be a very interesting episode, to say the least. So that's going to do it, guys, for my review of the January 28th, 2023 edition of the SmackDown LowDown. Thank you guys for checking out my review of the show. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. My Raw Talk review from this week, also delayed, should be up tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.